Hi guys, hey, this is Melissa Wren and I am here talking to you about bees again. I'm on day 2 out of 3 of my series, and today I just wanted to share some fun facts. One of my favorite things in life, honestly, is learning. So when I was in school and college, I didn't always appreciate it as much as I do now, but I do love to learn new things and share what I've learned with others. So that's the purpose of these series, is just to teach you what I'm learning and share that passion and hopefully learn some new things from you guys as well. I know many of you have been keeping bees for a while and you know far more than I do, and I'm just kind of on the cusp of learning. So I'd love to hear from you guys what you know, information you can share, fun facts that you can add to this. But I wanted to share 9 fun facts that I've learned just in doing a little bit of research and what we've learned from keeping bees ourselves so far, which honestly is just one day of that. But wanted to share a few things. So interestingly, the queen bee, I wanted to share a little bit about her. She can lay up to 2 times her weight in eggs in a 24-hour period. I thought that was interesting. So she can reproduce tons and tons of bees in a very short amount of time. And over the course of her lifetime, I think it's like in the millions of eggs that she can lay and create new bees from. Number 2, honeybees are assigned jobs based on their age. So the interesting thing is the average bee, the honeybee, only lives about 6 weeks. The queen bee can live 1 to 5 years, which I thought was pretty amazing. So it just goes to show the more work you do, maybe the shorter life you're gonna have. I don't know. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. So they live, the honeybees are about 6 weeks in lifespan, and then that queen bee can be about 1 to 5 years. And depending on the type of bee, there's so many kinds of bees. Like the bumblebee, it said they only live, the queen only lives about a year, but the honeybees actually can live quite a bit longer. Number 3, did you know that honeybees dance to communicate where to find food or a new home? We noticed this in when we got the hive set up, watching the bees when they started coming out of the little entrance that Bill made, or exit I should say. They can go in and out of there, but we watched them and they have this little waggle dance that they do. It's pretty cool. If you go on Netflix and you watch the bee documentary that I talked about, that shows you what it looks like, but it didn't take long for us to see that basically they're doing a lot of communicating about where to go find the food, and it also helps orient them to their hive so they can find their way back. So I thought that was interesting. Number 4, bees will fly up to 3 to 5 miles from their hive to search for food. Now, Bill told me it was about 3. What I'm seeing just in doing a little bit of research is they will go up to 5 miles from their home to find their food. So I'm thinking with my dad, where he's at and those bees are, they're going to have a ton to do just in his garden. So I think it would be very interesting if you had a way of tracking them, which the professionals do. But I wondered, would they ever even leave his garden area? Because he has so many fruit trees. He has tons of fruits and vegetables in the garden. So I think it would be very interesting to see, do they ever even have to leave? But where he's at, he's about 5 miles from town, and there are tons of people surrounding him that have gardens and flowers. So I think these are going to be some happy bees if they survive and thrive up there. Number 5, a colony of bees will fly. Hey Becky, wanted to share, a colony of bees will fly 55,000 miles to make 1 pound of honey. So when we think about the cost of honey at the grocery, I just thought that was amazing to think about that I can't remember how many times around the world that was. Hope you're having a good day, Becky. I thought it was a good day to talk about bees. It's rainy and I'm checking in on my robin outside and following up with a little more info here. But anyways, it takes approximately, this blew my mind, it takes approximately 2 million flowers visited to make 1 pound of honey. So again, back to the cost of honey, that seems pretty inexpensive now that I know how much work they have to do to create that. Number 6, the bees know if the smell of the queen based on the smell, if the queen has died. So there's all these pheromones that they put off, And if that happens, the worker bees get to work immediately and they start doing what's necessary to create a new one from the existing larva. So isn't that kind of interesting? Then there's three kinds of bees. There's the queen bee, there's the worker bees, and there's the drones. So the drones are the boys, and they mate once with the queen and then they die. Yes, hence the term busy bees. I know, I thought that really explains it now that I know a little bit more about him. And then number 7, the queen bee is about twice the length of a worker bee. So when we got our bees in the box, it comes in a little box, and there's, I think Bill called it candy. Again, I'm new to this, so I don't know all the terms, but there's like a packaging that comes around the bees. And what I'm understanding, Bill's telling me, is the worker bees that are in the box with her will chew their way through that and then slowly release the queen into this new hive. Since she may not have been a part of that hive before, I think they say it's preferable to kind of let them take a while to get into the hive and kind of introduce themselves. So I don't know if they don't like her, if they would kill her. I would assume that might be the case. So Bill's waiting on a new queen that's local to Indiana, who I think he said can survive better because they're used to colder weather. I don't really know. I don't know how that works exactly. How do they know how old the queen is? I don't know. Still a lot to learn. But with that queen, if she's native to Indiana, then she's better able to survive a cold winter, whereas the bees we got came from Georgia. So they're used to Georgia peaches and pecan trees and warmer weather. So I don't know. And since they only live 6 weeks, hi John, they're not going to survive through to winter anyway, but the queen will. So I guess if the queen came from Georgia, then maybe the concern is she may not survive an Indiana winter. Anyway, things to learn. I'm just excited about it. I think it's fun. Number 8, did you know that each bee, these worker bees, only makes about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in a lifetime? Oh my gosh. So think about that, how many thousands and thousands of bees you need in a colony just to produce a 1/12 of a teaspoon. That's so minute. It's just interesting to me. Number 9, honey has an infinite shelf life when it's processed. Now, I've heard like honey from like thousands of years ago can be fine to eat, which I think is interesting to think about. But they say if your honey hasn't been processed, like if it's just sitting in a hive, it's only going to last for about a year before it goes bad. So I've got some studying up to do. We want to make sure our bees thrive and do well. And I know one of the keys is making sure they have enough honey left for themselves. And I think what I was reading was they produce about 60 pounds of honey in a year if you've got a good hive, but they need about 25 of those pounds left for them to survive the winter time. So we probably won't be getting any honey this year other than maybe a taste of it, but I think it'll be interesting if we have a good producing hive, which I think we will at my dad's, how much honey we might be able to consume next year. So anyway, back tomorrow with the top 5 tips for getting started with a beehive. I've had a couple people reach out to me that they keep bees. I've had a couple people reach out to me that they're just getting started. I'd love to help you in the process and learn more together. And shoot me another message if you're getting in on the action, or if you know a lot more than I do and you can share some tips with me. I'll talk with you guys more tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.